You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Technical difficulties there. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Sometimes, just sometimes, we are available twice in a day. And it's wonderful, glorious, beautiful Badger days like today, where Billy Napier lands another transfer portal player, another player that will contribute to the Florida Gators this year in Arizona State. Hold on. You know what? In elite Arizona State wide receiver, Elijhah Badger. And man, is it a great day to be a Florida Gator. Like I said, talk to me nice. The Florida Gators adding more talent, stacking more talent. Yeah, they've got maybe the hardest schedule college football has ever seen. Doesn't mean Jack Diddley right now. The Florida Gators added another player in Elijhah Badger that can help them win more football games this year. And I see someone in the chat saying it's hard to read everything clearly right now with these, but I see someone in the chat saying 9-3. I'm not getting that crazy. Okay, I'm excited. I'm juiced. I'm jazzed. I'm not getting 9-3 crazy. However, I will say that the expectations, they've gone up for the Florida Gators in 2024. Like I said, I believe it was on today's episode this morning. I said, I think that having Elijhah Badger, it raises your expectations here. What up, Q? Q, I can't say, you guys, I need to say this. In the chat, you need to watch the potty mouth because I will run Burgundy this one day. You need to watch it. I try to go through the chat as frequently and as accurately as possible. And speaking of going through something accurately, we did expect this. This has been kind of the expectation since noise started picking up that Florida was Q. I'm just kidding. You don't have to watch math. You can say whatever you want. If I run Burgundy, I run Burgundy, right? He did it on TV. I could do it on a podcast. But for Florida, like they added Elijhah Badger, which we expected pretty much once smoke started picking up, once the visit was getting scheduled, it was, hey, Florida's leading this thing. That was what, if you're in the subtext group, I texted you on Tuesday, I think it was. And I said, hey, I heard medicals are good. I heard grades are good. This just makes it even more where if he's not a Florida Gator, it's a whiff. And lo and behold, holy, you know what? Elijhah Badger's a Florida Gator. And again, I've said it repeatedly ad nauseum at this point that Elijhah Badger makes your team so much better because he gives you an immediate starting caliber wide receiver. He gives a Florida Gators wide receiver room that had the potential to be really freaking good. He gives them even more juice to be really freaking great. Okay? And I mean, by looking at just what the room looks like now, it was initially going to be Khalil Jackson, Trey Wilson, Chimere Dike, and then we're going to figure the rest of it out, right? And Phoenix Rise is right. Hit the like button, subscribe, join Subtext. Links in the description below. Join subtext.com/LockedOnGators. But he is right. But now your receiver room is Trey Wilson, Khalil Jackson, Chimere Dike, and Elijhah Badger competing with Trey. I named him last just because he's new, but competing with Trey for best receiver on the team. Genuinely. And I know that everybody loves Trey Wilson, and that everybody, myself included, agree that he can be great, right? That he can be great. But I'm someone that I've been a little skeptical of, or not even skeptical. I just want to see him play receiver. Dude's been a gadget this whole time. Now you have a proven starting caliber. I keep saying starting caliber, but I'm like, I'm being an idiot by just saying starting caliber, right? Because he's not just starting caliber. He's really damn good. And I keep saying starting caliber, but what I mean to say is really damn good wide receiver Elijhah Badger. And so you pair a really damn good wide receiver like Elijhah Badger with someone like Trey Wilson, who can be really damn good as a wide receiver, is really damn great with the ball in his hands in any way, shape, or form offensively. And son of a, you know what? You got a damn good wide receiver duo down there in Gainesville, right? Last year, you had Ricky Pearsall and a true freshman, Trey Wilson. Now you have Trey Wilson in his second year with the team. And I also want to say, I don't fault him at all for being used like a gadget player last year. Because don't forget, Trey Wilson, one, was banged up during fall camp, and two, was a mid-year enrollee. It's not like he had a ton of time to get used to chemistry and get that developed and everything. So I understand it. I just want to see him be used more. I think that he can benefit greatly from that. But my Lord, Billy, like this is something where, I will say this, as far as the transfer portal went, a couple of months ago, I think there were a lot of Gators fans that were kind of just like, oh, that's less than stellar. Rogue in the Locked On Gators Discord, which links in the description below too. He's like, yeah, he's going really slow in the transfer portal. You look at this though, and it's buddy boy, in the past 2 weeks, the transfer portal for Florida added Jason Zandamela, one of the top, if not the top, depending where you look, interior offensive lineman in the entire 2024 recruiting class. Added him from USC, right? Boom. Cormani McClain. Say whatever you want about Cormani, how you feel about his attitude, how you feel about his play, how you feel about anything. Say whatever you want. The facts remain that he was top corner in the 2023 recruiting class, and that he is a Florida Gator, and that he is a walk-on player. Expectation, extra credit. We had this conversation. That's extra credit here, right? We can't get mad. Can't get mad. Now you had Elijhah Badger, the top receiver in the transfer portal. And you know what Billy Napier is doing to the transfer portal right now? You could say he's cooking. As I see someone say he's cooking. I see people being excited. You know what he's doing to the transfer portal? I'm going to tell you. Dominating. He's dominating. Okay? Dominating the transfer portal right now. This second window is his boom. I'm not going to say it. Just I want to say it so bad. Just no. I want to say it. And yes, Werewolf. He ain't cooking. He's burning it down. He's dominating. Napenheimer has hit the second transfer portal window. Okay? Like he is going hard for it. And I'm not here to be like, oh, 10 wins. No, I am here to tell you, though, I get excited because I have no problem saying this. I'm an absolute freaking nerd. If you can't tell by just looking at me and listening to me talk, I'm a nerd, right? I have no problem admitting that, no problem saying that. I get excited when the process is going well. We'll see the results in a few months, but for now, the process, Billy Napier's process, how he's handling the transfer portal, how he's handling recruiting right now, the process is going well. I'm a process-oriented person, and golly, Miami Hurricanes week 1, right? Pick a god and pray, because boy, you're going to have one hell of a time trying to patch together your team and take on the Florida Gators in week 1. Okay? Chat, I see you talking. We'll get to you in just a second. First, we are going to get a quick word from a couple sponsors that so kindly are bringing you this second episode of Locked On Gators for the day. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is a bonus episode of Locked On Gators. It's brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which, by the way, my Knicks, baby. Just saying. I'm just saying. Jalen Brunson time. I'm just saying. Tonight, they advance. And if it was in New York, I'd consider getting tickets. But it's not. It's in Indiana, which honestly might be cheaper to fly there, go to the game, and then sit courtside and go back. I'm just saying. But prices on the Game Time app, if you are in the area, actually go down the closer that it gets to tip-off time. And I said it. This past Tuesday, I went to the Mets game. It was terrible. It was miserable. I had a horrible time. I had a fun time. But it was a terrible game, right? I bought my tickets Tuesday morning, and I went using Game Time. I'll send you the receipt if you need the proof. I will die for Game Time. All right, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off with Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. This bonus episode of Locked On Gators is also brought to you by FanDuel, which it's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Okay, right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bets. $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. And remember that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back to another episode, another segment, another live stream of Locked On Gators. I'm pumped. I don't know if you could tell this, but like this early afternoon, evening time is usually when I'm jazzed, right? Now you had to commit to it, and holy, whoo, baby. So the Florida Gators added Elijhah Badger. They, of course, have to deal with the discussion or decision of how to create that extra scholarship spot in order to have Elijhah Badger be on their roster. Because again, you're allowed 85 scholarship spots. The Florida Gators, now with the addition of Elijhah Badger, are at 86. So they've got to figure something out. But again, we've talked about this. Scholarships are not as fake as the salary cap, but there's a lot of workarounds to things. For Florida, you can look at someone like Cam Carroll getting that medical hardship waiver, which again would mean he can't play, but you can work around that scholarship. I love that the chat, like people that are just coming in right now, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you have anything to say in the chat, say it. We'll get to it. If you have not yet liked, subscribed, commented, or reviewed, if you listen on audio, whatever it may be, do it. Because, baby, just like the Florida Gators, Locked On Gators, going up. Just saying, going up. You see Pete Alonso behind me? Locked On Gators going up too. If Pete Alonso gets traded, I'm gonna hate my life, just so you know. But the Florida Gators, they've added Elijhah Badger. They've got to figure out the scholarship. You can also do what they did with Riley Simons just a couple of weeks ago. They were at 86 scholarships because of adding Asa Turner late in last cycle. And what did they do? Jordan Pouncey hit the portal. Ethan Pouncey hit the portal. Jordan Pouncey graduated. He was wide receiver. Ethan Pouncey hit the portal. Riley Simons, depth offensive lineman. He's done playing football. He's now a student assistant with the coaching staff. So there's a lot of things you can do to clear things up. There's other players who I don't like to name players. I said that. I don't like to name players. But there's other players that you can go, hey, maybe you should consider joining as a student assistant as well. Just saying. Just throwing that one out there. If you see a cut on my hand, it is because beer pong gets real sometimes. And I'm not kidding. I wish I was. But we're going to go through the chat now, have a little bit of fun. We'll be here for another 10, maybe 15 minutes. We might get crazy, okay? We might get crazy. And I'm keeping the shades on unless I pull them off for dramatic effect. But this is a great time to be a Florida Gator fan. And again, we talked about this the other day where the expectations go up because your offense is now expected to be considerably better. Elijhah Badger wasn't big on scoring touchdowns last year. He also played with some of the worst quarterback play that I've ever seen at the Power 5, now Power 4 level. It was terrible. But you look at what he brings to the table, and you look at the production that he could bring to the table. It was I think Bud Davis on Twitter has been tweeting about it a lot, where if you can get Elijhah Badger to his 2022 level production, the last time he had even somewhat acceptable quarterback play, and you can get Chimere Dike to play at the level that he played in 2022 when he last had Graham Mertz, you got some elite team right there. Elijhah Badger, 65 catches last year, 713 yards, 3 touchdowns, 99 targets. He was a beast. He had 2 drops, which is the same exact percentage that Ricky Pearsall had last year. Different types of receivers. Elijhah Badger's bigger, going to win more on those digs and creating that way. Whereas Ricky's just so damn smooth. Just put him in space and let him create more space. But Elijhah Badger coming over is huge for Graham Mertz. And I see that someone asked about who's out basically from that starting 3. I don't know if there's necessarily an out there, because I think what Elijhah Badger brings to you also, we have 190 people in here right now. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the most we've ever had for a live stream, except for maybe after the Utah loss last year. So that's bet, you know what, crazy. Thank you all for tuning in. And before I continue my thought about Elijhah Badger, I just want to say thank you all. Like, this is a job. This is my job. I get paid to do this. That will never be lost on me, how awesome it is and how privileged I am to have that opportunity. And so thank you so much for allowing me to do this, because this is sick. But now I don't know if you necessarily have 3 starting receivers. I think you have 4 guys that are going to be starting at any given time. I think when you want to have Trey Wilson, and I think Trey Wilson dictates all of it, okay? I think when you want to have Trey Wilson out wide on the field with him, you'll have either Elijhah Badger or Khalil Jackson outside with him, probably Elijhah Badger. I think he's the better receiver, and I don't think that's an insult to Khalil Jackson in any way, shape, or form. Elijhah Badger's really good. So I think you have Elijhah Badger starting outside with Trey Wilson outside and Chimere Dike in the slot. But when you want to have Trey Wilson in the slot, you have Elijhah Badger and Khalil Jackson both out wide. And then you can have Trey Wilson line up wherever you want, and you'll have 2 respectable receivers with him at all times. And also there's that possibility of saying, hey, we're going to have Elijhah Badger and Khalil Jackson out wide, Trey Wilson and Chimere Dike in the slot, and just a running back and no tight end sets. We'll probably see a little bit of that, I think, this year, more of it next year, with Russ Callaway taking a larger role in the offense. That's kind of what I would expect from the air raidy part of his game. I would expect to see a bit more of that. But now we are going to go through the chat further. I was going to take the shades off, and I was going to say it's easier to read them. But again, I'm keeping them on. Hell yeah, 9-3. Great day to be a Gator. Chomp, chomp. Harrison, what's up, Harrison? How you doing, buddy? Q with her, the words that Q is trying to make me Ron Burgundy here is wild. Harrison, we may never lose again. Hey, we may never lose again, right? Genuinely, may never lose again. Who knows? There's a 50-50 chance that the Florida Gators never lose again. They either never lose again or they lose again. 50-50 chance. It either happens or it doesn't. I'm just saying, right? I'll take those odds. I think that's pretty good. Still having Billy calling the plays. Okay, here's a couple of things about that. 1, the scheme isn't bad. He needs to be better at actually calling plays, in which case I do think Russ Callaway will help him at that. 2, until I see Billy calling the plays on game day, I'm going to say that's still open as a possibility. I know he said he plans on calling the plays. I know what he said. He's a coach. You can only buy so much of what they say, right? And 3, I genuinely do think that a lot of the offensive issues last year were because of a piss-poor offensive line. Just bad. There were some bright spots. Big fan of what Jake Slaughter did last year, but he still had his mishaps. He was a redshirt freshman starting there. There's a lot going on here, but I do think that the offensive line will be improved this year, although that's not saying much. But I do think that Florida will have an average to above average offensive line this year, and that's miles ahead of what you had last year. So I do think that your play call, because no matter what play you call, doesn't matter if Graham Mertz is getting hit immediately, right? Doesn't matter if your running backs are getting hit in the backfield. Doesn't matter what play you call if that's what's happening to you. Q, 9-3. Harrison, that escalated quickly, right? I saw that when I was quoting Ron Burgundy. So thank you for that. Sean, it's on now. Look at our wide receiver room now. It's wild. It's wild. I see someone also mentioned, players that I didn't mention, such as, Arliss Boardingham, Harrison mentioned, could be really good. He looked improved in the spring game as a route runner. Aiden Mizell, Marcus Burke, Tank Hawkins, Andy Jean, if he develops the way that so many Florida Gators fans are hoping he develops. There's a lot. The TJ Abrams looked pretty good when he was able to play, but he dealt with a little bit, I believe it was concussion that he suffered in the spring. Could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it was TJ Abrams' concussion held him back a little bit. He did play in the spring game though. So that's a good sign. It's just that kind of held his practice back a little bit. Now they can't just double up Trey all day and feel good about it. Exactly. You got to pick one. You got to pick, or you can't pick any. And either way, that's a good trade-off for me. I'm just saying. I think that's a solid trade-off. Hearing Badger's back injuries, okay. Yeah. From what I heard, medicals are fine enough to take them. Great time to be a Florida Gators fan. Chef Billy has a new recipe and he's cooking. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. I was going to do something else that's wildly inappropriate, but I shouldn't do that. Let's go, everybody. Look at this. Parth is in here. We're cooking. We are cooking right now. We have a damn squad, no excuses. Let's talk about that for a second, because I was listening to a Twitter space this morning and I forgot who it was. But they were talking about how this team's so stacked. It can be so stacked. But again, you're expecting a lot of young players to take developmental jumps. And realistically, that's not going to happen for all those guys. But. Okay, like this is we're talking a big but, right? Like I was going to name people, but I'm not going to name people. But it's also not a day that we're going to be pessimistic, right? It's a good day to be a Florida Gators fan. And we're going to enjoy that. Right? Text any Miami fan you know and let them know that, hey, you're losing August 31st. There were some bets made in a Twitter space yesterday, and boy, Florida cooking. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of money made for the Florida Gators. And just saying on these Twitter space bets, there'll be a lot there. There's a lot, yeah. Need time to throw, absolutely. Defense needs to be at least better. 8 wins is doable. I want to make that clear. The expectations are higher. I expect Florida to win 7 games this year. And I know that for a lot of Florida Gators fans, that's not awesome for you. But for me, realistically, that's my expectation. And if you get that, I'm cool with it. I'm not going to be complaining too much as long as you're not, folding the game against Stanford or Miami. I need you to win those. Just saying. Daniel, where we have the weapons. Yep. Bravo Dave said, get that state champs ring minted. Yeah, there we go. Unconquered. Man, the rings they're cringeworthy. But hey, Florida has the chance to be the undisputed state champs by beating Miami, Florida State, UCF this year. They play all 3 of the other Power 4 schools in the state of Florida. Just saying, you could be undisputed. Also, if you're in here and you want, I tweeted out that on YouTube, if you search Whole 9 Sports, WHOLENINE Sports, we're going to get EA Sports College Football. We're going to have a couple of dynasties, Road to Glory going on there. We're going to get nuts with it. I started doing some MLB The Show videos. So if you don't, I would appreciate, or if you don't mind, I'd appreciate it if you went and subscribed to that while we try to get that channel kind of off the ground there. By what date do the 85 scholarships need to be finalized? I believe by the time fall camp opens, if I'm not mistaken. I will look that up and try to get that down for you definitively. We're going to have a great wide receiver core. Absolutely. Imagine if Andy Jean steps up. That's what I'm saying. Hell of an addition. Great get. Does wonders for the running game as well. Army Sniper. I think I recognize Army Sniper from High Top when I was on High Top the other day. Brokeback Badger ain't saving Billy. Cry more. Okay. Is Army Sniper, is that Chris Sorley? Is that who it is? I don't know. I didn't see Chris Sorley say anything, but I see Harrison say, Sorley, let us celebrate, man, down. So I'm going to cry more, Chris. That's you. How about that one? Just imagine if the O-line can give Mertz some time. So I'm saying, foundation is on proper footing. Billy Napier is gaining momentum and selectively picking great team. I'm glad that you said that, Todd. You said that they're selectively picking great team players. And I told you weeks ago on Locked On Gators, and if you're in the subjects, I told you that I spoke to someone in the program, and they said the Florida Gators are going to be really selective in the second transfer portal window. And in the second transfer portal window, they were really selective, and they landed five-star top receiver in the portal. Like, I'm not complaining a damn bit about that, right? Or Zandamela might have been high 4, but if I'm not mistaken, he was 5. I'm not complaining a damn bit about the second window. Beautiful, masterful job. Like, this is what you want to add here, okay? Skill position players. It's awesome. And I love it. Miami's really cooked. You're damn right, Q. They are cooked. I'm extremely confident in this team. We've improved on all levels. Absolutely. This is an improved team, without a doubt. Just like it's an improved team without a doubt there. Gator about to be back on top. We just might be back, boys. Hey, last boy 85. We just might be back, boys. For the first time since I started covering Florida, they might be good. Just saying. It'd be a really fun time if that were to happen. I'm tired of covering teams that are losing. I covered the Giants and the Gators. That's embarrassing. Pearsall was a 3-star coming out of high school. Gonzalez coaches him up. He gets guys to the NFL pretty consistently. I give him credit. We had a conversation with Locked On a couple years ago at this point about like who's wide receiver you. And one of the things that I said was, hey, Florida may not have the top players, but man, they get a lot of receivers to the NFL. What number would you give him? Elijhah Badger, whatever number he wants. I'm not one that's 6 on numbers, man. As long as I abide by the Deion Sanders, you look good, you feel good, you play good, they pay good. Whatever number makes you feel good, man, right? My favorite number is 2. I couldn't wear that. I couldn't wear 4. I wore 42 at one point. I didn't feel good. I played good, but I didn't feel good. Or I didn't look good. I felt good. Don't worry. Don't forget about Marcus Burke. I've been pounding the table for Marcus Burke for years now. He's either going to work out and I'm going to get to say, hey, I saw this years ago, or he's not going to work out and I'm going to look like an idiot the whole time. Billy's killing the transfer portal. Absolutely. Hey, Mr. Olsen. Mr. Olsen's my father. I guess I'm Olsen, but you get the point. We have an O-line now, wide receivers and running back. Yep. Yeah. Hey, Florida Gators might be back. I'm just saying, get Swamp Kings Part 2 going. I'm just saying. Cooking up a storm. Hope Mizell can take that next step. Absolutely. He's got the glasses on. Brandon's been drinking. I have not been drinking. Okay. I will be later to celebrate Elijhah Badger, but I have not been drinking yet. Imagine 4 verts with Badger, Mizell, Wilson, and Tank. Man, I'm just saying, you could put Arliss in there too. And it's like, okay, well, they need to have linebackers on the field then. And he's going to be a mismatch there, ready for all the smoke. That's what I'm saying. I want the smoke. I want the smoke from you. I'm just saying, August 31st, you want smoke, come find me. I'll be around before the game. Just saying, come get it. We win 8 games. We're getting everybody. And with the D, Florida could have easily had 8 wins last year. Yeah, the defense last year was terrible. I do think that they'll be much improved, and that's one of the reasons that my expectations are up for the Florida Gators. I'm going to say this before we wrap up. I see a couple. I'm going to start with Chris Ballard, then go to Greg Gavina. I haven't read your messages yet. But I'm going to say thank you again for tuning in. I would love it if we can get a chomp or a gator emoji in the chat. If you have not yet liked and subscribed, I'd appreciate that. And we're going to get to this before we wrap up. 2 plays away from being 7-5 last year. Yeah, you look at the you look at for the 7-5 last year, the Missouri game. You look at if you don't give up that 4th and 23 or whatever it was, 4th and 24. You can look at Arkansas, the missed field goal. And I again firmly believe that Utah game was very winnable. Okay. That Utah game was very winnable, and Florida just didn't show up. It's not like Utah played a great game. Florida just didn't show up. You could have won a lot more. The Kentucky game is just you got punched in the mouth that one. I'm not going to give it to you there. Gators got a lot better. This roster is absolutely miles better. Canes by 21. Why are you saying Canes by 21, Peanut? You can't count to 21. Stop trying to do it, all right? New jump ball dude like Grimes? No, actually. Elijhah Badger is a pretty good separator for someone that's 6'3". Khalil Jackson is still the best jump ball receiver on the team. I want to say that. And Elijhah Badger actually kind of struggled with some contested catches last year. That was one thing on his film that was a little worrisome. But again, I expect him to be able to separate, and so that's not a big concern. Harris, I see you with the laughing about. I'm just saying, these Canes fans got to stop. These Canes fans want to talk. I'm just saying, talk to me nice, because you can see me on August 31st. I don't care who it is. I'm him. You dropped F-bombs all over High Top, and now you can't. Yeah, I can't. It's appropriate in some places, and it's not appropriate in others. We run a family show here. Okay, just want to throw that one out there. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Trayvon Grimes was underrated. If he didn't tear his ACL as a rookie in minicamp for the Philadelphia Eagles, he would have been, I believe, on a roster. But that pretty much ruined his career because you get hurt, miss a year as a rookie. They're just going to find new rookies next year. But Trayvon Grimes, I do believe, had NFL potential if he did not get hurt. So I just want to throw that one out there. But thank you all so much for making Locked On Gators your first listen, second listen of the day. Oh my, we went 31 minutes here, and we still got almost 200 of you in here. Thank you all so much. Again, I am never going to get tired of being able to say I get paid to talk about my favorite school on the planet. And that's my job. It's ludicrous. I love it. I did get I will tell you this also just quickly before I let you go. One of my uncle called me today. He's like, "Oh, congratulations on the engagement. You get a job yet, or you're still doing the podcast thing?" And I was just like, "Come on, bro." That's what I'm gonna say to you. I'll let you go with that. But thank you so much for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, review, do whatever it is you want to do. Just know that any and all support and constructive criticism is appreciated. For Locked On Gators, I am Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Giants Country and NFL 33. And as always, I will see you all next time.